Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply, and this video is to bring you a closer look at the Kaba Ilco number 15395GC 26D universal key and knob replacement cylinder with Sargent RA through RC keyway and satin chrome finish. Let's take a look and see what is included in here. Okay, so we have a composite or a generic type of construction cylinder. Solid brass construction. Sargent original look-alike key blank. It will make a solid brass construction. The point of that is it will afford very smooth and reliable, predictable sort of operation, performance, very nice quality product as a result of its base material. With brass, they can achieve nice machining tolerances, tight machining tolerances, which will really give you a smooth working cylinder. So this is what they call a universal key and knob replacement. It's not universal in the sense that it will work everywhere, because it doesn't work in every cylindrical lock, but it does work in lots. I've had people order these and they worked out splendidly. Occasionally someone says, will it work in this lock? No, I don't know. I've never tried it. I don't think it will. And lo and behold, it doesn't work. So be mindful. It doesn't work in all instances. And this video will attempt to give you additional information so as to determine whether or not it will. So let's take some basic dimensional properties. The outside diameter of the plug, of the face of the cylinder plug, and this is a dimension sometimes that ends up being really important for me to know. 0.62 diameter, and then it's sticking off of the face of the cylinder housing itself. 0.131 inch is its projection from the brass to the face. That's important because sometimes I find that that cylinder head is too large, too small, whatever it might be. Its projection may not be adequate to work inside of the cylinder, but it's nice to know that. The overall length of what's called the Bible of the cylinder, just for that information, 0.098, pardon me, 0.98, 0.9. Yeah, 0.97, just shy on an inch. Okay. Let's do a length of the body itself. That's 1.01. The length of the brass body. Now this is going to include a number of tail pieces, okay? And these tail pieces there are 3 of them that are the typical straight style. Okay, and we'll take some dimensions. The longest one, and I don't know what the stampings mean on them, but the longest one is stamped S. It's about 1.25 inches overall length. The next one is stamped SA, and that is about 1.16 inches overall length. And then SD is the shortest one, and that is stamped, that is 3/4 inch length. And then there are 2 other tail pieces that have the tailpiece orientation on the opposite arrangement. Okay, so they have been manufactured to put the tailpiece in a different setting, in a different orientation. Think of a lever application. The longer one's about 1.1 inches, and that one is stamped BB. The shorter one is not stamped at all, and that one is 3/4 inch. Okay, now where these are going to fit in here take a closer look at how that fits together. Okay, so the way that the two different tail pieces work is we have our mounting. If we hold the mounting type, how it connects to the back of the cylinder in the same orientation, what you'll see is that we've got a tail piece that's vertical and one that's horizontal. The difference being, of course, when you're dealing with a horizontal tail piece installation, you're dealing with a you want to make sure it's connected before you put the lock back together. You're dealing with a knob installation, okay? And when you are doing a lever installation, you are going to clip your tailpiece in so it's vertical. Why? Well, cylinders in lever locks, well, they lay on their sides. Cylinders in lever locks, they lay on their sides, making the tailpiece horizontal. So that it comes back the same way. Okay, so they've included those tail pieces so that you can run this into either a lever or a knob. They also have a retaining ring here. Don't know if I want to call that a Wald's ring or not, but you'll need the pliers that will open up. I think it's called a Wald's plier. Okay, and that will certainly give you a nice predictable installation over that, rather than that piece of tempered steel that's there, that ring that's there that holds the tailpiece on. I generally just use that ring that's there. It certainly holds the tailpiece on. I've not had one fall out, except on camera when we're trying to demonstrate it. Now, let's talk about this keyway. This is a 15395 in a Sargent RA through RC keyway. Okay, a couple of important things. That last 5 means that this is going to be a 5-pin key. Okay, 5-pin length, 5 cuts. Now the cylinder itself is drilled 6, but it will only be pinned 5. If you change that to a 15396, it'll be drilled 6, it'll be pinned 6. Now this Sargent RA through RC, let's take a look and see exactly what that means, and we're going to hop to the screen view for that. Let's do that. Okay, now looking at the item that we're looking at on screen here, we see this RA-RC, and that might appear to you as an unusual broaching in the cylinder, and that's because it's been turned into a composite sort of plug so that it can take the RA through RC. And I find a very helpful way to go about looking at this is to look at the Kaba Ilco key blank catalog. Okay, let's do that. Let's pull up the key blank catalog from the manufacturer's page here. Link to the manufacturer's page from the unit. Look for key blank catalog. And as that document comes up, the door hardware, that's in section 2 of the catalog. The first section is automotive. It's the green section. Okay, section 1. We'll scroll all the way and get into section 2, which is the red or purple section, section 2, and we'll scroll down and we'll get to Corbin. It's all alphabetical is the point. Okay, Sargent RA through RC. Now we've gotten to the page where it shows us this RA section, and it's on page 61 of section 2. So 1007 RA, RB, RC. That means any of these 3 key blanks will pass into the cylinder plug. The key itself that's here, the key that this comes with, knowing what blank is included with this, is a very handy thing to know. And without really knowing that, it's difficult to know, obviously, what we're dealing with. So in order to determine that, and first of all, when you are looking at these cross sections, it's as if you're looking down into the cylinder plug and not at the end of the key. There's another link on the manufacturer's page to the brass cylinder catalog, and I have that open. And when we go up to the section where these cylinders are sold, they're going to show us the Sargent RA through RC. That's what it looks like. Okay. Now we can search RA-RC in the catalog, and we're going to find the table that tells us what key blank is being used. Okay. 1007 RA. We take that and we populate it back into the key blank catalog, and we'll search that document for that. And it's going to come up multiple times. It comes up multiple times because it will come up in the page that we're referring to. So what's important to know is it's a 5-pin key blank. It's an RA key blank. So that does not mean you'll be able to take this key blank that comes with the cylinder and run it into your, if you had an RB or an RC, it's not going to work. That key blank won't go into those cylinders. But if you had RA, RB, and RC key blanks, they will pass this cylinder. So the cylinder you're going to get will have a composite broached cylinder plug that will take RA, RB, and RC, but the key blanks are RA only. Now the reason it shows up other times in the book when we do a find function on our keyboard is because it will come up in cross references. So if you wanted to know the Cole key blank number to the 1007 RA, it's there. And as you continue to go through, there's a Dominion cross-reference, a Jet key blank cross-reference, Orion key blank cross-reference. Orion is a sister company to Ilco, I believe. Orion, and then the Sargent. So that's really nice. The original Sargent blank would be a 275 RA. That's very handy. The 6-pin version of that. 43 RA. This is going to be a Taylor cross-reference. So what's really nice about the key blank catalog is you can, if you go into enough resources, you ought to be able to find out everything you need to know about the cylinder. When the bottom line is when you know where to look. Okay, that's just the bottom line. So without this conversion, we'd be in trouble. If you were doing the 6-pin version, it would be the O1007 RA, which is here. So that would be the 15396 version. Now let's take a look at how that part number is built. In the catalog itself, in the brass cylinder catalog, sure enough, 15395 is listed here. Okay, and it tells us it's a 5-pin universal lock set lever set padlock. Okay, and again, if you change that to a 6, you'll get a 6-pin. Okay, these are those different sorts of key and knob cylinders that they have. Okay, now let's take a look at this cylinder more on camera. So we've gone over the cylinders that are included, the tail pieces that are included. And one thing that I really love about Kaba Ilco material is that, well, a number of things. First of all, very high quality, smooth, predictable, reliable operating. They do a phenomenal job with just producing a quality product. When you compare their product against OEM material in terms of cost, you know, if you can use a Kaba Ilco cylinder, I say, why wouldn't you? I mean, there would be a reason to not use this cylinder. It's a composite plug. You know, when you there would be reasons to not use this. You know, that broaching in the plug itself is huge. It's been broached out so that multiple milling patterns of key blanks can pass that. That is a disadvantage from a locksmithing perspective. It is, pure and simple. It would be technically easier to pick. It would be technically easier to decode visually the pins that are inside of the cylinder. It would give you a sloppier performance when you're running your key blanks through there. If you don't need a composite cylinder, don't order a composite cylinder. Order a composite, meaning it will take multiple keyways, or a multi-section cylinder plug. But at the end of the day, it may not, and none of that may matter to you, because it may just not be an issue. You might have a Sargent RA keyway, and you've got some arrow locks, and you want your Sargent keys to work in them. It'd be unusual to have that, but you certainly could. Or a more realistic example would be that you could have Sargent 8-line locks on a house. I did a house years ago, friend of the family. Can you rekey my locks? Yes, of course, I will go. What kind of locks do you have? I have no idea. Do you have a key? Nope, left it at home. Okay. I show up and it's Sargent 8-line. And if you know anything about Sargent locks, those are the ones that you don't like to take apart because they are engineered opposite of a lot of common lock platforms in terms of construction. So you've got this investment in these Sargent 8-line locks, and then you decide to put on a beautiful Baldwin mortise lock with a Versailles trim, gorgeous, antique nickel, but you want your Sargent key to work in it. Okay, well, you could get a Sargent mortise cylinder from Kaba Ilco in the right length to take your Sargent key. That's going to work great. That would really work really, really well. That could be an example of where you would do this. And to bolster that, we do indeed find that we have clients who have applications like an apartment building. There's 60 units, and they've got front door, back door, and they have Weiser locks, and they just need new cylinders for the Weiser locks because with time, cylinders simply wear out, is the bottom line. It's made of brass, and while material science today for the alloy of what this brass is certainly good and durable, it's still a relatively soft material, okay? So that will wear out. Your keys will wear out. Weiser stopped making cylinders, you know, for your lock. They may have discontinued the lock in the 1970s, or Dexter, let's say, or, you know, or Falcon, or whatever the case might be. Kaba Ilco could really save the day in lots of those instances, and we've done projects where I need 60 cylinders. I need them to take this weird Weiser key. Why? What's going on? Well, we've got 120 locks, and we don't want to buy all new locks. Great. New cylinders, they're relatively inexpensive, and they work reliably very well. I'm also partial to them because they've got great technical support behind the product. I have a direct relationship with the person in charge of, the gentleman in charge of cylinders at Kaba Ilco, and he's tops when it comes to understanding the product line and responding and indulging my questions. Let's go back to the key blank catalog. I won't switch the camera view, but if you would look at the key blank catalog, if you have that document open or can open it, you'll see that there is a multiplex structure that's laid out. Let's just jump to that view. It'll be easier. Now, what I mean by jump to that view is to take a look at the page from the catalog, and what we're seeing here is their multiplex style structure, where you have the RA, B, C, E, F, G, J, K, and L, 5 and 6 pin, that are the keyways that belong in the multiplex environment. Down here would be a key blank that would pass those cylinders. This would be a multi-section key blank. So the RD will pass A through C, the H will pass E through G, and so on. Well, you can get even fancier than that. You can go with a RDH, and it would, of course, handle all of the first 6 keyways from left to right. Okay, and so on. You can watch or look at your, if you wanted, you know, the first 6 from right to left, you'd use an RHM, and then ultimately you could use the RMB key blank to pass every possible cylinder. These are key blanks only. These 7 are key blanks only. These are multi-section blanks, and this is the all-section blank. These are cylinders. These are cylinders, okay? And that is helpful in the sense that for a lot of reasons you might need for a couple of solid reasons you might want a multiplex system. You could have a 3-story building, and just for simplicity's sake, a 3-story building, okay? You're dealing with just these 3 keyways. First floor, second floor, third floor. Law firm, architectural firm, consulting firm, okay? Everyone gets their own keys, their own keyway. Well, you can walk around with the RD as building maintenance to be able to pass all of their stuff. The point of the matter is when you have an RA, an RB, and an RC keyway, they won't pass each other. So obviously you wouldn't use these cylinders in this example. You would use only RA broached cylinder plugs, and then the owner could walk around with RD. Now that would be one reason, and the reason for this is because these key blanks won't pass each other. So no one from the first floor, not only will their key not work in the second floor, but it won't even enter the cylinder of any lock on the second floor, and so on. The other reason is there is a theoretical maximum number of different biddings that you can achieve, what we would call changes. You know, if you had a 5-pin environment, you could only have about 4,000 theoretical, 4,096, well, don't quote me, but just a handful of thousand. It depends on what the system is, whether this is single step or 2-step. I don't know. I imagine it's 2-step, but I'm not sure. So just a few thousand changes. Well, what if your campus had 8,000 doors? Okay, so you could take your bidding list of this section, photocopy it in this section. They're all the same cuts on the keys, but because the key milling is different, it doesn't matter. The keys won't pass each other. They can be cut to the same numbers, but any lock over here, its key won't pass any lock over here that has the same bidding. Okay, and that would be the reason that the multiplex structure is important. The 2 primary reasons. And the latter is used when you need to generate a lot more changes. So this multiplex structure, let's say that this was 5-pin 2-step, you could theoretically achieve 6, 8, 9. You could achieve maybe 25,000 actual changes. I don't quote me. I'm just pulling numbers out of thin air, but actual changes is what you could probably achieve out of that. Okay. Let's finish up this video on the camera. Okay, so in conclusion, Kaba Ilco, their name is synonymous with very good quality brass cylinders, mortise cylinders, rim cylinders, key and knob, key and lever. Those that will also take or package with them the ability to operate deadbolts, and it would be a different cylinder construction. It wouldn't have a clip, a C-clip holding the cylinder plug in the cylinder housing. It would have a threaded cap, but it would include tail pieces that will operate in a lazy action. That's the technical term, lazy action. They'll do it in, you know, a couple of dozen different keyways. They can do it in all kinds of colors. They can do factory keying at the factory. We do all the key work here as well, so that can be put together in any way that you would like without any sort of trouble in that regard. This is the 15395. You can make that a 6. The GC is the keyway. The 26D is a reference to the finish on the face of the plug. This would be available in 26D or 04, a brass finish. This happens to be KD. This client ordered this just keyed differently. We only needed one. We wouldn't send a KA2. We wouldn't send anything other than keyed differently. That link to the manufacturer's page below this video will allow you to get to all the Kaba Ilco products that we sell. Also that link to the key blank catalog, to the brass cylinder catalog, and a link to the manufacturer's site as well. A leading name when it comes to not only key blanks, but key machines as well. So keep that in mind. If you're looking for good quality, robust, semi-automatic key machines, there's lots of product offerings from Kaba Ilco. Any questions on the Kaba Ilco 15395GC in a 26D finish, or any other Kaba Ilco product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.